This one's busy, but cash flow is an important element to think about. A lot of times cash flow is good. Um, we're the I just had a comment in an interview the other day that I was just saying that this is the first generation of people that are paying off their own student loans into their kids' college years. So I've seen it more and more in like the last 3 to 5 years that I'm going, wow, this is kind of crazy, especially people with higher education and advanced degrees. So cash flow, if we've gotten rid of some of that debt, now we can really kind of, how do we optimize this? So a couple tools that are there. One is a lot of the schools have interest-free payment plans. So they're typically either 4 or 5 months, just based on their semester schedules. So five's very typical. So it's usually for the semester, you got to say, hey, here's how we're going to pay it. We'd like to pay, this, over the next 5 months, we're going to put $500 per month in, and they'll take that. So you can do it zero interest, or you can kind of self do it yourself by advance paying into your 529. So if that's how you're going to do it, but keep the money going in there. But it's good to know that's how a lot of folks make up a good portion of the college bill is with the payment plan. So that kind of the other part, it's beneficial because instead of having to take money out of an investment to pay out a lump sum, just paying it over time is usually a nice strategy. So with cash flow too, I'll hit it while I'm here on those payments. Um, you want to balance retirement with college always and prioritize retirement planning, but it's a balance. And I know for most people we meet with that they've been told there's lots of ways to pay for college, only one way to pay for retirement. And then they get to college and they want to pay for college for their kids. So that's probably you. So one strategy you might want to consider is, hey, could we reduce 401k for a little bit for a few years while the kids are in school? And then we'll kick it back up. Could that sometimes that can bring a really good school into play if you say, hey, we understand we're going to give that up a little bit, but let's keep to the match. Always get to the match, get the free money. But if you backed it off a little bit, just to be able to cash flow for college, so it can just frees up some cash. So that's very I'm not advocating you to that. Regardless, you make sure you're on track. If you're pretty well on track for retirement, and we're short on the college goal, that's when you could do that and do that without sacrificing. So that's why I bring that up. We've given some people permission for a few years to not put money all their maxed into the 401k to be able to fund. Sometimes it's a dream school and you want to make it happen. And if you're willing to do that and sacrifice, or work another year or two in your plan, then let's do it. But that's got to balance that. So next one is lifestyle. So I call it like found money. Like what are you already paying for that's going to go away? So the meal plan at the school, that's $2,500 to $3,000. They're not free when they're at home. Like sports, activities, uh, teachers, coaches, all that kind of stuff. And where's the car, the gas, and the insurance? A lot of schools don't allow you to have a car till a year or two in, so that might go away. But just you stack those things up. If it's soccer, or I have people that pay 15 to 20,000 for hockey, which is nuts to me, but that's a lot of money. But their kids better be really good at it. So just think of that from a cash flow standpoint. What can we, without even really changing our lifestyle, that's going to kind of shift? And then can we do that? And we've talked through the opportunity tax credit, making sure that you're using non 529 money, coordinating that with them. And then I think the last piece is just having just discipline. It's a time when it's really a cash flow crunch, and you're decumulating money, your cash is going out, and it's just making sure if you're not a big budgeter, because a lot of if you do well and you don't really think that way, but in this cash crunch time, it's a good time to sit down and really line out your budget if you haven't for a while. And I would suggest if you're like me, you probably have way too many subscriptions to things online for TV. So I could probably drop a couple of those and only have like five at a time instead of 20 or whatever I have. But simple little thing. But those kind of things, like I said, it's just a cash flow crunch time of life, especially if you got two or three going at the same time. So those little things are hopefully some ways that we've helped just find some cash that's, I won't say it's laying around, but it's found money if we can think through those things. Uh, Okay, so and one another thing I'll say here on cash flow is I've had experiences in the past where people have some credit card debt. And some of them are like embarrassed about it. You don't need to be embarrassed about it, but it happened. But they have cash. Also, they have money. So they have cash, but they're like, no, we need that money to pay for college. Like, no, you're going to be better off to pay off that debt and use cash flow as opposed to using the cash you have on hand. So that was a case of it was 10 to 15,000 of credit card debt. I said, well, if we can pay that off with the cash you have, then we'll cash flow college. So just I guess that uh, hopefully that makes sense of like once you don't have that bill, whatever you were paying, you can cash flow, and that's a much better strategy than paying interest. So, what was the one other thing? I would another thing on cash flow and payments that are coming in kind of relates to asset and cash flow. Um, Paying the college bill with credit cards, just be careful that you make sure you pay them. So we've just seen it where people did utilize that, and when it came time, there just wasn't they they forgot to withdraw from the 529 in that year, and so just make sure you're managing that and understanding, coordinating all that stuff together. Okay, so I think of a cash flow idea, how to max it. This is just if you're a business owner, and you're a higher this is if you're this is a 400,000 32% tax bracket, just federal. But the idea I hear people say all the time, yeah, I've talked to my CPA about it. But this is hopefully is a tangible, real look at what if you did shift income from you're taking it home because you're going to have the privilege of paying $4,800 in taxes if you take home 15,000. So you're only going to net around 10. Whereas if you put students on the payroll up to 15,000, roughly uh, um, the standard deduction, they would pay zero. So each year you could start earlier, you could start in high school, but it doesn't have to be all the way to 15,000, but just really something to consider. And hopefully this gives you like a tangible visual of why it's such a popular thing. You have to validate they're working in your business. There's things you need to document. They need to be on the payroll. They can be W-2 or 1099. But just that's a powerful one because we get the we get to pay self-employment tax. We have all these other things. So if there's things we can do, the planning for this is important. So, uh, yeah, I think that's it kind of on the income shift, business owner strategy. There's plenty of others. I have a whole series on business owner stuff. There's a new ebook that's coming out. If you're on our newsletter, it'll be all business owner strategy. This will be one of them. FYI.